Hello, my name is Dr. Seresh Shahid and I am a leadership researcher at Australian Institute of Business. And today I will discuss how leaders play a significant role in bringing or managing change in organizations. This video is divided into two parts. In part 1, I will share some insights on how leaders can successfully manage change. In part 2, Michelle Budowski is joining us. She's a serial entrepreneur starting at the age of 19 with the purchase of her first business, the restaurant. She started washing dishes in at the age of 11. In the past 25 years, she has had 14 small business startups, including a residential cleaning company, a group fitness studio, and an escape room entertainment facility. She's located in Manitoba, Canada, and has turned her focus towards work in the nonprofit education sector. Let's talk about the significance of change management. Over the past 20 months, it's become clear why change management is one of the most essential leadership skills. Knowing how to lead and manage through unexpected changes can make or break a company. While the pandemic was an unexpected event that affected everyone, knowing how to manage change is also about traditional and routine events in the everyday business world. If a business and its leaders are not prepared to effectively manage through these major events, it can lead to low morale among employees and poor customer experience. Successful change management in today's workplace is about collaborating and being transparent with the workers at all levels than simply giving orders that are expected to filter from the top down. In today's uncertain climate, leaders at all levels in the organization are involved in managing change. While the senior executives set the organizational tone, those in the middle management, leaders on the front line, and team leaders also play critical roles. Take the example of healthcare industry. Change management takes on a whole new spin. Leaders in many cases are the physicians and doctors on the front line dealing with both their staff and patients. Though medical school teaches physicians about the many facets of practicing medicine, business leadership training is mostly absent, specifically leading and managing change within an organization. It certainly raises the question, why is not the education of business acumen, organization, and development skills like change management prioritized for physicians when their daily leadership has such a direct effect on both employee and patient experience? Today, I will share 3 things leaders can do to facilitate change management during unexpected events. Number 1, recognize you are going through change. Sounds simple, but many times the self awareness of what is going on around you can be challenging to recognize. Talk with frontline management and look out for communications from the leadership team to understand the why and how of the event. Then, spend time figuring out the best way to communicate and help your team with the change. Number 2, communicate accurately about the change. Leaders and managers need to be aware of how they are talking about a particular change. Make sure the greater team understand what's going on and how their actions and discussions influence their staff. Share the anticipated changes and how they can work with the leaders to move effectively through the change positively. Describe to your teams how to reinforce the message to your patients and vendors, even how to do it informally. Lastly, lead with introspection. The best leaders are very self aware and lead with introspection, not authority. Navigating change is not easy, and those who lead through it best are people who understand their power and use it to help others feel safe. I would like to say that being skilled at change management is something all leaders in organizations need to take seriously and prioritize. With regular organizational changes, it is a standard part of the business world. The more prepared your leaders are to lead through the change, the better the experiences your employees, customers, and patients will have. Now, Michelle is going to share her experience as an entrepreneur in her field.
When it comes to managing change, I think one of the biggest things or the most important things a leader can do is to understand that we can't actually manage change. Change is inevitable. It is going to happen whether we manage it or not. Our role as leader is to step outside of ourselves and see how that change is impacting the people around us. Our team, our staff, our coworkers, our families, our community, everyone around us. Because I know for myself as an entrepreneur, change excites me. I love change. I love chaos. It motivates and inspires me. And stepping outside of myself to learn, understand, and appreciate that not everyone has that same perspective helps me be a better leader. Because looking at things through other people's eyes and seeing it from their perspective helps me to navigate the change and come up with solutions to problems I may not even think exist until I talk to them. So when it comes to managing change, I think leaders need to really put their egos aside and realize that we don't know everything. We don't even know what we don't know. And that is a really important thing to understand. And most people know what they need. You just have to be wise enough to ask them. As a serial entrepreneur, I think change is one of the most exciting things about my business career. It gets me up in the morning. It keeps me going when everybody else just wants to take a break. It is the lifeblood of the entrepreneurial spirit. But when change impacts the people around us, when it impedes progress or stops us or maybe interrupts us from reaching our goals, that's when we need to look at change a little bit differently and realize that it's not all unicorns and fairy dust, that sometimes change really needs to be managed and we need to set aside our own excitement and our own enthusiasm for conquering yet another challenge or problem and take a look at change from the perspective of the people around us. Because as leaders, that's really our job. It isn't to be the one that's doing everything. It's the one taking care of the people that are getting things done. And that's been a challenge over the years and not one I've always been successful at. And one of the reasons I absolutely loved the leadership course studying with my MBA at the Australian Institute of Business, because it helped me really look at things from all the different perspectives and put my own personal ego and thoughts aside. Managing resistance to change, I think, is one of the hardest things that any leader has to do, because if we've taken the time to look at a change or look at a decision from every perspective, if we've sat down with our stakeholders, if we've talked to our people, we've looked at it and still have to make a decision that not everyone is going to buy into or agree with, it can be difficult. There can be a lot of personality, there can be a lot of hurt feelings, because we get passionate about our work and we want our employees, we want our people to be passionate with us. And I think that's what they want too. They want to feel like what they're doing matters and what they're doing every day, what gets them out of bed is empowering. And when faced with something that they have no control over and don't agree with, that can be really demoralizing. And it's our role as a leader to listen, to stop talking, to listen, to understand, and give them a safe space to express themselves, to talk about it. And that's our job, is to make sure our people are safe and that they are comfortable and that we are transparent and honest with them, so that when we do have to make decisions or there are changes that need to be made that they are not happy with, that they at least understand our reasoning why, and we do what we say, that that they can trust our reasoning behind it, and that they know, and we've built that relationship so that they really know that we did consider how they felt. And perhaps they still may not agree, but at least they'll feel respected and valued as an important member of our team and our community. And managing change is hard when you feel that resistance, right? You know, if everyone agreed and everyone loved it, it wouldn't be a hard job and everyone would do it. And that's why our role as leader isn't that easy. It really is one of the most difficult things and yet the most rewarding things that we can do. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Over the last 35 years as an entrepreneur, I have changed and redefined what I consider leadership. I think many of us from my generation grew up believing that a leader was someone with a title that was given a position of authority. And we looked at leadership basically as a management style, a hierarchical view of that top-down mentality of do as I say, because that's what I pay you to do. And over the last 35 years, that has changed, especially when studying different leadership styles through my MBA program. I've really come to understand that an inclusive servant leadership mentality is not only what I strongly believe in, but what I've been developing over the years. I just didn't have a proper name for it. And what I mean by that is this idea that as a leader, I'm only as strong as the people I lead. I can only be a leader if people are willing to follow me. And that's not about a paycheck. It's not about anything I can give them. It's a mentality that they chose to be in my presence, to work with me to reach a common goal. And that's not just, again, staff and employees and people I pay. It's also clients and customers that they could go anywhere, but they chose to work with me. And that is an attitude of gratitude. It's a perspective of servitude, that because they chose me, because they could be anywhere, but they're with me, helping me reach my goals, that I owe it to them to work with them, to help them meet theirs in the same manner. And that servant leadership has changed everything for me. That mentality of, I'm not here to get you to do what I want you to do. I'm here to meet your needs. And through that mutually beneficial relationship, we're both going to grow and prosper. And using an inclusivity leadership style, meaning to me that incorporates everyone's perspective. Everyone has value. If you have an MBA, if you've never finished high school, if you've got experience on the floor, and boots on the ground, those experiences, those perspectives, all have value. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. I need to listen, and I need to look at things through your eyes, because it's not all about me. And that's not what I'm here for. I can't do it alone, and I don't want to do it alone. And in order to get people to want to come on this amazing journey with me, I have to listen to them and respect them and meet their needs before I can get mine met. And that attitude, that perspective has changed everything for me. The idea of getting employees or staff member or even customers or clients to buy into any type of change doesn't have to be a daunting one. It's not even really about buy-in, because to me, buy-in makes it sound like I'm trying to sell them on something, when really what I'm trying to do is find a way of reaching my goals, reaching my company's goals, by meeting everyone else's needs along the way. And I think that's where buy-in really comes from, is about sitting down with the people that matter, the people that change is going to impact, and asking them how they see it, looking at things through their eyes and finding out what exactly it is that's maybe holding them back from embracing the change you're proposing, listening to their concerns, respecting their input, respecting their values, and finding out how we can actually make it work together. So even if they maybe are apprehensive, because not everything is going to go exactly the way that everybody wants it to go all the time, but they at least understand that I value their input, that I have heard them, that I've taken the time to listen, that I've evaluated it. And even if I don't agree and we're going to go in a different direction, I've respected them enough to give them that opportunity. And what I found more often than not is by doing that, by listening and by valuing everybody's input before I go ahead and jump into something that I think is going to work for me, they usually have better ideas, or at least can refine my ideas so that they've all come together in this magical, amazing place. And it's really about understanding that they want to be listened to as much as I want to be listened to, and together we're stronger. It's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing who to listen to and when to just shut up. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. And usually when I swallow that pill, I come out better for it. It's kind of like medicine for the soul. So bringing about change isn't forcing it upon people. It's about working with people. It's about relationships and respect. And I think that more than anything is what we all want, regardless of whether or not we're in the role of leadership or followership.